overall, it took me about a decade to get consistently profitable in the market. And it was because I had the entirely wrong approach. When I first came to the market, my idea of investing was you have some money, you put it in, you wait X amount of time, and more magically pops out the other end, right? And I had to learn the hard way that that wasn't the case. And well, when did I start trading? I started trading in 1999. I graduated high school in 98. I started working part-time and I saved up some money. I saved up about $5,000. And sometime in 99, I decided I wanted to get involved in the market. I had heard a lot of things from an uncle when I was growing up that the market was a great thing and that you could dramatically increase your money. I thought that was a great idea. I wanted to get involved. I went to my local bank at the time because I thought that's how you bought stocks, right? So I walk in and they had this little financial booth set up too, and I thought that's where you would go to do it. So I walk over to them and I tell them, I want to buy stocks. And they're like, no, you don't, that's way too risky. What you want is this. And so they showed me the mutual funds that they had, right? I had no idea. So I start flipping through these prospectuses that they had, and they're like, after about 5 minutes, they're like, what are you doing? Nobody reads those. And I'm like, oh, okay. Start flipping through some more. I'm like, all right, fine. I'll take this one, and this one. And it was 2 different stock funds and a bond fund. And I'm like, all right. I'm being real smart here. I've got professionals managing it for me now. Each one of these things is very diversified. They had about 100 different stocks in each one, and the bond fund had probably about 100 or so bonds in it. Great, loads of diversification. I've got time on my side. I was figuring that I would take the money out after I had graduated. I started my undergrad in right after I graduated high school, so in 98, and I was going to graduate in 2002. So I had my money in there, professionals managing it, time on my side, amazing. So after 6 months, the first 6 months, I go and I look at my statement and I'm like, wow, I'm already up 10% in 6 months. That's amazing. What would I have gotten if I just kept this in my savings account, right? I had no idea about the NASDAQ, about .com bubbles or any of that stuff. I still had this mindset of put money in, more money magically pops out the other end. So I'm like, great, I'm a genius. And then my studies started to get a little bit more busy, and I stopped looking at the statements because, professionals are managing it for me. What do I have to worry about? I've got loads of diversification, time is on my side. Figured that my meager $5,000 that I started with would balloon into 10,000 or 15,000, and I'd have enough to buy this Jeep Wrangler that I wanted at the time, right? So stopped looking at the market. 2002, I graduate. I want to go take this money out, and to my surprise, I didn't have the 10,000 that I thought that I was going to have. I didn't have 8, didn't have 7. I didn't even have the 5 that I started with. I was down to $4,000. $4,000 after having all this time in, after having professionals manage my money for me. How the hell did I have less than what I started with? So I took my money out, I went home and I cried. And that was my first exposure to the market. Now, someone also asked me, well, what the hell made you stick with it after that? And it's funny, I thought about that for a little while. Like I wasn't asked that question before. And I think what made me stick with it was kind of like the market, what was it calling? It was one of those things that just kept on coming back to me and coming back to me and coming back to me. And after that blow up, I waited some time. Then I started learning about, I listened to Jim Cramer way back then. We're talking about 17 years ago at this point, and I started listening to his advice, started reading all of his books. They started to make sense. I tried to apply the principles. I fell flat on my face there, and just trying all these different things. Then eventually, a coworker of mine recommended Bill O'Neill's book, right? William O'Neill, How to Make Money in Stocks. I read that, and it made a lot of sense. he's the one that started to talk about you have certain qualities in a stock that could go up 500, 1,000% or more in a very short period of time. Amazing. This made a lot of sense. And he gave ways to technically trade these kind of stocks. Amazing. And then I found out about all these meetups that were around the country for his style of trading. I'm in New York City. There was a New York City Investors Business Daily meetup. Great. I went to that and I started attending monthly. Right? So I started to get all these people around me that were trading the same system. It was run by a hedge fund manager and a couple of full-time traders. And so I'm learning from these guys and seeing like what they're doing, and I'm starting to see that, hey, we're all doing the same system, right? We're the same method, but everybody's doing it in their own unique way. So they're doing it their way. I'm still a part-timer trying to do this, and I had my full-time job at the time. How can I take what they're doing and make it fit me and my lifestyle? And so I started to try to weed out, like, well, figure out what's essential. Well, what did I need to do in order to make this work in the smallest amount of time? And over the course of a year, I was able to figure that out, went back to those guys, and I said, hey, do you mind taking a look at what I've been doing? And they were like, we want to adopt some of what you're doing. I go, what? You guys are the full-timers. I'm trying to learn from you. And I found ways that, they were so entrenched in what they were doing as full-timers that I found ways to do what they were doing more efficiently, and so they wanted to adopt some of those efficiencies. And that's the idea. You want to model success. You don't want to clone success, right? Because if you try to clone success, that you'll never be able to clone it, right? You're just going to be a second rate of whoever it is that you're trying to clone. But you can model success and then make it your own, and then that's how you're going to succeed.